right, so that's a microphone connector using this type of wire. Now I'd shown you, or I talked to you about different types of wire. This is the other type, and this has, let me look over here, this has a nice rubberized outside coat cover, and then on the inside here, this wire is actually using a red wire, and that will be hot, and a blue wire, and that will be cold or neutral, whatever you want to call it. And then, of course, then the shield does not have a cover on it, and that would be your ground wire. I'm going to make a guitar type cable now, just one end, because both ends are the same. And so I'll show you how to do this. And just to let you know, if you used the blue wire for hot and the red wire for cold, as long as you do it on both ends, it's going to work. The problem is if you on one cable, like on the XLR, if you used red for pin 2 on one end and blue on pin 2 on the other end, what happens is that wire will work, but that microphone will be out of phase with the other microphones in the system. And when they're out of phase, you might not notice anything when microphones are totally separate, but if you ever got the microphones close together, you would hear a phasing sound. Even if you got the microphones, two microphones that are out of phase with each other equally close to you, you will lose all sound, because they're out of phase and they're fighting each other. That's the same type of technology they're using in a lot of cars, the technology they're using in noise canceling headphones, where the headphones actually have a microphone that picks up the noise from out in the room and puts it back into the headphones out of phase with the sound that's coming in just through the earmuffs of the room. And that cancels the outside noise out, so you have strictly the sound from the music that you want to hear, or a podcast, or whatever it is. So that's the technology, and it works. Okay, we're going to make a instrument cable. This is a 1/4-inch phone jack that we have right here. This is a mono 1/4-inch phone jack. If it was a stereo, it would have another ring around it right here, and you would have 3 pins to connect to on the inside. Here you only have the one, and then you have ground. So this is hot, this is ground, and we're going to make a cable now with that. Notice it has a hole there in this. That hole doesn't mean that you have to stick the wire through that to solder it or to wrap it around. That really does no good. It doesn't make the solder connection any stronger. Where a cable is going to break is at the weakest point, which is where the flexible part of the cable meets the tinned part of the cable, which has the solder on it. And where you have the immovable part with the solder on it versus the movable part, which is just the wire, that if it moves enough, eventually that part will break. So it's not a matter of wrapping it around this little piece of metal here multiple times. That will not make it any stronger. So I'm going to show you how cables are made. I'm going to use this wire that I have right here. I've already taken and pulled the outer coating off, outer cover, whatever you'd like to call it. Now, since it's a guitar cable, I can do one of 2 things, actually one of 3 things. I can cut the blue wire off and only use the hot and the ground here for the connection. That's, not a problem at all. Or I can choose to, since this is the neutral or cold wire as such, I could strip this back and tie it in to the ground wire and do that. that will work. If I wanted to double up on the hot cable, I could strip these two back and also tie them together. As long as I do the same thing on both ends, that's the main thing. So in this case, I'm just going to make a standard mic cable. I'm going to actually cut this off. I'm going to strip this one back. One more time. Again, I'm trying not to cut the wire. I'm going to trim the ground wire back a little bit, simply so it can't move and get twisted around the hot. All right, so now this wire is it's protected. It's prepared to be soldered on. But what's the first thing I have to do? First thing I have to do is tin all the parts that will be connected together. I'll go ahead and do that using the vice grips here. The connector together, because you cannot do that after you solder it if you already have an end on the other end. So we'll just do that. I'm going to set this back up now. That's ready to be tinned. Right there, that's ready to be tinned. Now I'm also going to set the connector up in here. I'm going to put this in like this. It doesn't matter if you put it in like this, where it's straight up and down. If you put it in sideways, in the case right now, I'm just doing it so that it's more visible to the camera over here. All right, that's ready. This end's ready. I can now tin all of this at one time and be ready to solder the cable together. Again, I'm just going to do, I've already wiped that on my sponge over there. Going to tin this right now. Let's go ahead and put that down. I've got the ground prepared. Now I'm going to tin this connector. Just getting a good amount of solder on there so that it will flow, and put it on the ground. I do this last because now this is still pretty hot, so I don't have to start from scratch on heating this up. And so I'm going to now get this where it flows well. All right, now that's flowed together. The solder is now attached. Tighten this down a little bit more. And I'm going to have this flow now. Again, I could do this from underneath. Once the two flow together, hold it straight. All right, it's done. Now I'm going to take this off, and once this cools down, I can then push this on down inside here. Put this clamp down on the wire. That gives it some strain relief so that it doesn't get pulled out easily. You don't have to put too much pressure. You just want it to hold tight. And this is done now. So you see, everything's clear, clean, no problems. They're not going to be shorting out anywhere. And once I've done that, then I can screw this on, and you've got a 1/4 inch phone plug that will now work. So this is basic soldering. I'm not going to give you the hows, and I'm not going to give you the whys. You do certain things, except for the fact of keeping everything in phase, connecting to the correct pins with the wires. Clean soldering iron, tinned surfaces that you're soldering together. If you do those things, and again heat up the pin that you're soldering first till the solder flows, then touch the wire to it, do those things, you'll have beautiful solder joints every time, and you won't have any problems with your wires, unless somebody just really, you know, goes crazy with it. So anyhow, I hope this helped, and you have a great day, and look forward to talking to you in the future. Thanks. Bye-bye.